Let's be honest. Some of y'all last relationship ended because of you. Don't get offended. We are not here to knock people down. Over here, we are about talking about our past so that we can resolve any issues and clear the way for the future we deserve. So let's get into it. So some of you are in denial that you were the cause of the last breakup you had. Some of you acknowledge it. Some of you weren't the issue, okay? But for those of you who were the issue, so most people are generally good-hearted. Just sometimes we let past traumas that are unresolved affect our behavior. We don't change it, and it keeps messing stuff up in our present. And we're always like, why does this keep happening? It's because whatever issue we have been dragging along, it's always there. It's always going to be causing issues unless we resolve it. So once we clear out the garbage, we have a better chance of having the future that we want, that we deserve, the relationship that we deserve and that we want. But you got to put in the work. Like a lot of people want to keep living in their dysfunction and not resolving anything, but hoping things will get better. That's not how it works, okay? You might see someone like, oh, I know this person's a trash person, but they got a great relationship. Stop worrying about other people. Focus. Focus. So we're going to be talking about some typical things may have been the cause of your past relationship failing. It's very rare that you will find a relationship that was ruined over, something that's never happened in other relationships. That's real rare. Okay. It's usually set categories where relationships are failing at. So we're just going to be talking about some basic ones. And if this hits home with you, if you feel offended or you feel like, you feel targeted, don't get offended. Put your guard down and realize, okay, become self-aware of the issues and resolve them. Don't keep letting them ruin things for you. A very common one is distrust and accusations. Are you the person who is constantly assuming that your partner is doing something? Now, a lot of times this stems from a previous ex damage that was done to you. I have another video where I talk about how to get over the damage caused to you by your ex, so be sure to check that out. Anyway, a lot of times it's an issue that was caused by an ex that you don't want to think everyone's like this, but you also don't want to be caught slipping again. So now you're like, I gotta watch everybody. Everybody's suspect, okay? It's guilty until proven innocent over here, okay? Don't come playing games. Don't play with me. That's the mode that you're in. And it's honestly not a good mode to be in. So the thing is that a lot of times if you've gotten to that point where you were in that type of relationship, you weren't looking at red flags in the first place, okay? And now you're just constantly on the hunt for red flags. So this can destroy a relationship. Now, one thing I have noticed, and comment if I'm wrong, a lot of times if you are in a relationship and you are constantly accusing someone of different things, I think you're doing this, I think you're doing that, the person who stays with you and puts up with that, they're probably doing something. Because the person who isn't doing anything, the person who's being as loyal to you as possible, the person that's treating you like the world, they will get tired of it. They will get exhausted always having to prove themselves to you. And they're going to walk away. It's not going to be no, years worth of you constantly accusing them and them constantly having to prove something to you that's going to get exhausting. And if they know their self-worth, they're not going to put up with it. Now, someone who's doing something and they have it in their mind, as long as you don't catch me and you just always assuming, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And they're going to stay with you for years. And you will have years of accusing them. They always stay. That's a red flag in itself, because an innocent person will get exhausted always having to prove themselves. Don't nobody got time for that. It's up a guilty person. It's kind of on you to See real red flags, not make pretend ones. A real red flag, let me put you in a scenario. There is someone that you're dating, and all of a sudden they're starting to work extra shifts at work. They're working a lot of extra shifts, or they're working, an extended shift or whatever. But yet they never have any extra money, or, there's no financial equivalent to the time they're putting in. That's a red flag. It's not adding up. So that makes sense. Okay, this isn't adding up. You're supposedly working all these hours, but yet you still don't have money to do anything, or you still don't have money to pay your portion of the bills, or you don't still have money. Is not adding up. That makes sense for you to be like, something is off. But when there's a person who you just are always like, there's nothing you can really seem to put your finger on it, but I just feel like I can't trust him. That might be some past trauma. And this person is doing absolutely nothing to even give you the idea that they're cheating. Like, they're working long hours, but bills are always getting paid. They have extra money for you guys to go out and do something. Like, they have extra money for this. That makes sense. Okay, that's just someone that's out there busting their butt to provide. And if you're seeing red flags, true red flags, you have to have the confidence and self-assurance to nip that in the bud and get away from that. Or if you're making up red flags, you have to understand, like, oh, wow, like, there's some type of insecurity in me. I need to work on this. They don't need to help you work on it. You need to work on that yourself. Do some self-evaluating. Look at your past, see what caused it, and resolve it. Another thing that may have ruined your last relationship is that you are too judgmental, boo-boo. Okay? You are nitpicking every little thing. So a lot of times this happens when you started seeing someone and they got potential. Like, they not what I want right now, but I could mold them into what I want. So now you are going into this relationship with the purpose of changing this person. But when you go in with the simple fact, like, I'm not really into this person, I could change them though. That's never gonna work. You should never go into a relationship seeing it as a project. That will tear someone down, for one. And two, even if you're improving them, you think you're improving them, you may be improving them to leave, and then they realize, like, this person bossy. I don't like that. I deserve better than that. Or you make them so uncomfortable because now you've turned them into someone that they aren't, and they feel like they got to be this person to be with you, and they no longer like being this person, so they no longer like you. Like, it will backfire in your face. So never go into a relationship with the idea that, molding, I'm gonna mold this person. Like, yeah, no. Recipe for disaster. Don't do it. Another thing that ruins a relationship is if you are a bossy person. And this should not be anything that's new to you, because other people in your life have told you how bossy you are, how controlling you are, and you're always trying to dictate stuff. People have probably repeatedly told you that you're not their parent. And you might think, like, oh, I'm just doing what's best, or I just know this and I just know that. Okay, have a seat, okay? Calm down. Even if you have a little bit more experience than someone, you don't need to be always trying to dictate. Well, I'm trying to help them. Did they ask for your help? Or are you just pushing it on people? Because that's exhausting. No one wants to date their mom. Okay, some people do. Okay. Most people do not want to date a parent. And even if it seems like it's working for you, most people are going to eventually get sick of that. And you have to look at yourself and wonder why you're like that. Like, what made you that way? Because the problem is you. And don't be so comfortable. I'm comfortable being boss. That's a real negative way to go through life, period. Not ever wanting to compromise. Always feeling like it's your way or the highway. That's insane. Why? Why are you the way you are? Even if you have a partner, if that partner is still with you, but they are incredibly unhappy, you shouldn't be, I'm comfortable with that. That to you should be like, dang, like, this person loves me, but they're like incredibly unhappy. You shouldn't be okay with that. You as a person should not be okay with knowing that you being in someone's life make someone happy. It's very important for you guys to have understanding and compromise. It cannot be always one-sided, because everything that's one-sided gonna eventually break. The weight's gonna give. That's just physics. That's just, you know, nature. It's just life. You gotta have an equal balance. You can't just be running through life just bossing people around. And the last thing that's very, very common is manipulation, okay? Manipulating someone, when you're always trying to work over someone to keep them in your dysfunction. You know you're dysfunctional, but you don't want to take the time to step back, spend time resolving the issues that keep hurting people that you're with. A lot of times a manipulator is very good at hurting people selfishly. Like, you know when you're doing something that this is going to hurt your partner, but I'll find a way to ease back in. I will do whatever it takes to make it up to them, but I'm gonna still do this right here. I'm gonna still do this, and they still gonna get hurt. I already know this. They're gonna get hurt, but I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make it up to them. Okay. You already knew this before you did the thing you did, but you already knew I can try my best to manipulate them into forgiving me. That's very selfish, and that destroys a lot of relationships. Manipulating people, also, the guilt factor seems to be really lacking in manipulative people. They're probably borderline narcissists. So if that's you, you may be borderline narcissist. You may be borderline like sociopath too. You're not all the way emotionalist. You know, like, I feel bad that I did that to them. Not bad enough to not do it. I'm still gonna do it. But I feel bad enough that I know that I'm going to also work to resolve the pain that I caused. Dysfunctional. And if any of these things are you, don't think that you're a bad person. I'm not saying that you're a bad person. You are just a person that has gotten okay with living in dysfunction and allowing it to ruin your relationships. And if you don't want, and the thing is, most of the time, you guys are good people. You're good people. And you want love, you want relationships, but you've gotten so comfortable and in survival mode to survive with this dysfunction that you haven't worked to resolve it. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to the people that you've already damaged, and you owe it to your future partner to take time to resolve it. Most people, like most of your exes, they don't wish you any ill will most of the time, if they're mature enough. Or even if they did at the time, as they've grown, they wish you nothing but the best. And they definitely don't want to see other people going through what you may have put them through. Don't think of yourself as like a bad person, but understand, like, you want a future. You want a good future. You want a happy future. You want a peaceful future. You want a fun future. You deserve that. But you got to put in the work to not bring that dysfunction with you to the future. And I'm telling you, like, you put in the work, and you will be so happy with yourself. Like, you will probably be like, I can't believe I was ever that way. But don't just be comfortable in being dysfunctional. Like, try to do some type of improvement. Okay, you owe it to yourself. So get on that, okay? So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Healthy healing.